What does the Giza Plateau discovery, the scar on Mars, the face on Mars, and Atlantis and the Buga Sphere have in common? Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. I'm Sally, and with me is Christina, and we are two QHHT practitioners that enjoy doing associated remote viewing just because we're truth seekers and we don't want to know all the secrets. Um, Well, I guess they're not so much secrets. It's what we have gone into amnesia and we're rediscovering. I think that's a better way to go. What do you think, Christina?
I think that's a really great way to put it.
hmm I want to apologize, everybody, up front. I've got my wrong set of glasses on. And so you're not going to be able to see my eyes as much because I've lost a pair of glasses that have the glare control. Anyway, sorry about that. Can be a bit of a distraction. So we are doing associated remote view today on the subterranean structures beneath the Giza Plateau that has recently been discovered. And does it have a connection to the lost civilization of Atlantis, the face on Mars, Mars in itself, or any of the other anomalies up there? As well, does it all connect to the Buga Sphere? And so that's what this video is going to be about. So we just had the most amazing, hey, how you doing kind of a thing. And I hadn't had a chance to look at the structures beneath the pyramids to see if they were associated with the lost civilization of Atlantis. And what is so interesting, even after all this time doing it, um, I say to Christina, I go through that, I said, is a lost civilization, you know, is the subterranean structures beneath the Giza Plateau associated with the lost civilization of Atlantis? And I was disappointed I got no. And Christina, what did you say to me?
So take the word lost out.
Mm-hmm. One word changed the entire answer.
Yep.
Because in reality, just because we don't remember it, it doesn't mean that it's lost, correct?
Correct.
I think this is so cool. So I tuned in and I found out that there does seem to be a connection between the Giza Plateau anomaly recently discovered and Atlantis. That's not lost, it's just forgotten, I think is the better word.
Right. Absolutely.
hmm So tell me a little bit about what you felt when you went into this, or walk me through, were you surprised? Were you not surprised?
Well, honestly, when I was going through, there are some surprising things in this whole thing, for real.
Oh, do tell, do tell.
But like for the Giza one, and I went through and I did the with the lost civilization of Atlantis, I kept the word lost in there and it kept bugging me and it was like no, 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 and my brain was like, okay, take the word lost out. And so I did that and then I was like, yes, and I'm like, aha, okay. So I would leave and come back and leave and come back because I was like, okay, this is coming in too easy. Like, is it just me?
Yeah, I don't know. So you found out that once you took the loss out, it changed the answer just as it did for me.
Right.
And yes, there is a connection. So you said there are some interesting tidbits. Oh, do share. Inquiring minds want to know.
Do you want to go on to the next part of this then?
Oh, I think just do it however. Yeah, I mean, go
Okay.
on. Is it tied to the face on Mars, other Martian anomalies? Wherever you want to take this, I want to know what you got in your downloads.
Okay. Well, it so for me what came up was, you know, the face on Mars, Martian anomalies. Um, there's an interesting thing going on with the destroyed planet that forms the asteroid belt. So what I got was that the planet went off orbit, and
Hmm.
what I got was that's part of like what happened with Mars. That's why Mars is the way it is because that planet like struck Mars.
That's why you have that gash across
Yeah,
it, like it'd been hit by something,
yeah, and
and
that's
that stripped it of its atmosphere and all of that.
yeah, and so that was like the one event, and then because I keep getting it was only one event and not two events. Um, and then, yeah, the Buga Sphere is connected to all of it.
So I had massive goosebumps when I tuned into that. And I
Yeah,
was like, because I did do that the other day, and I'm like, this is connected. And I had massive goosebumps then. I'm
yeah,
like, wow, this is crazy stuff. All right, go on.
yeah. So it's all connected. I even went so far as to use some AI to ask about, whether a planet could have caused like what happened on Mars, because I am not by training, I am not a sciencey person, so I don't know. So I was like, well, hey, could this have been a plausible, like, am I making this up or is this even plausible, you know, of a thing to have happened? And the AI is like, oh, well, that's an interesting idea. And yes, this could be an explanation for XYZ. And then the
Thing.
AI asked if to continue the thought, um, as if it were going back through ancient archaeological evidence.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
Do
was
tell.
because I was like, huh? You want you want a what? Oh, that sounds really interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
So I did it, and it like talks about um and the planet was called Phaeton. Um, and then it talks about, gravitational harmonics begin to shift, and it was Jupiter that was the cause of the destruction of the planet. So, I mean, it's just really it's interesting. Like,
So is Phaeton like a moon that was in Jupiter's orbit that got discombobulated, or what
I
happened?
think it was one of the original planets in the solar system.
Oh,
It
I
is
see.
what it says, is that it was one of the original planets in the solar system, and then because of Jupiter, it got thrown off its orbit and then, slammed into Mars, essentially.
Interesting. So did they see this coming, do you think? Let's dial it back because we need to go back to the associated remote viewing, right?
Right, right,
So
right,
so the next question was, is the Giza Plateau anomaly that was recently discovered tied to Atlantis? We both get
yes,
yes. And
yes,
is it associated with Mars? And then, of course, we're getting yes,
yes,
that's also connected into one
yes,
event. And that Mars, walking it back, its atmosphere was stripped away because of an event between Phaeton, that was its own planet, between Mars and Jupiter, because
right,
of something that Jupiter did.
right. There was a gravitational disruption that threw Phaeton's orbit off.
So what was that? Was that a natural event, or was there like some cosmic war between, I don't know, Star Wars?
Well,
Maybe that's history.
yeah, it seems to be gravitational harmonics shifted, um,
Did they say why it shifted? Was it natural or was it?
It doesn't say why it shifted. It just says gravitational harmonics shifted. So I guess our question is that was that natural or was that was that made?
Was the event on Jupiter that did this disruption to the gravitation of this planet? I'm getting it was not a natural event. What do you say?
Yeah, I got the same thing. That
And
it
you know, it's sort of interesting. There's a couple of things I want to kind of point out. There is some evidence, is my understanding when I look at some of the science about Mars, is that there, like, if there's a nuclear explosion, it does certain things to soil. And that event took place, something that was like a nuclear event. So if you think about this planet coming in and scraping the side of Mars, you would think it would have that kind of an impact, or maybe it was just a piece of it. I don't think it was the whole planet that hit it. It feels like a piece of it, went across its surface. That's how it feels to me, not the whole thing.
right.
Because it feels like part of that is in the Oort cloud, part of it's in the asteroid belt. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a discombobulated mess.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that you see that. And also, and we'll have to actually remote view this. I know that places like Sodom and Gomorrah, they're showing signs of a nuclear type event that took place. And that's evidenced in the soil. There's certain, like, I think it's the heat creates these little granules of glass, and it has to be a certain temperature, which can only be produced in some type of nuclear event. Now that question becomes, was that even tied? So you know what we're going to do is add that for our next remote view, is that question right there. So let's make note of that.
Okay.
All right. So now my question to you is, as we walk that back, did the people of Mars see this event going to happen, or did it cause a migration from the Martian community to the Earth community, or Earth? How do I say that?
How do you say that?
Yeah, how do you ask that? I mean, because I'm all over the
So
board with that question.
I guess we got really it's two questions, isn't it?
It seems
Like
like it, yes.
did the people on Mars know that that was going to happen
Oh, in advance.
in advance? So, did the people on Mars know in advance that that was going to happen?
I say yes.
I say yes too. So, and see, this is what happened with the planet wasn't like a fast thing. It was a thing that you would be able to observe.
And they
So,
could predict it.
so they could predict that it was going to hit, or parts of it would probably hit.
Hmm. And
So,
so they started migrating in order to get to a safer place. They're moving away
right,
from Mars, and they
right,
can't go to Jupiter for whatever reason, probably because it's a gaseous planet.
yeah.
And so they make the leap. So does that mean in your mind that the face on Mars was, run with me on this one? Everybody close your eyes. Feel out the energy when I talk this out. And does your body feel light or does it feel tight? So I'm going to ask, and you go ahead and feel this out, Christina.
Hmm.
It is a structure that we would identify as the face on Mars. It is a carved structure by something that's intelligent that created it. I get yes with that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And the people that created that came here. The question I have, this is what's coming in kind of like an interesting download. Because as I'm kind of feeling that out remotely, Do you remember that in the DNA, there is an actual splicing of the DNA that took place 250, I think 250,000 years ago? If anybody wants to know more about that, I'll try to leave a link in the description box below. But Greg Braden talks a lot about that DNA being spliced. Now, the question is, because they were in a different environment with different gravitational pull, with different sunlight and temperatures, did they manipulate the DNA? I know everybody wants to say it was the Anunnaki, manipulating the DNA. Or my question is, was it this group of people migrating from Mars to Earth that manipulated the DNA so they could have a way to survive in the new environment? What do you get with that?
I get a heck yes.
I'm not crazy. Oh, it just came in like a flood. And that's the thing about doing this work when you practice this associated remote viewing. These images, don't you find, just actually just come in a flood, and it's like, we sometimes use a pendulum, but it's really about, as in with associate with just regular remote viewing, what do you feel? What do you see in your mind's eye? Is there texture? You go through all the senses, and sometimes it just hits you, just bam, there it is. How does that come in for you? Is it just coming in that way for me, or is it coming in that way for you? And for those watching, leave a comment. We want to know how it's hitting you. Go ahead, Christina.
Well, for me, it doesn't always, like, most of the time what happens is just the idea just just kind of pops in and is just like, bam, it's this.
Yeah, it comes in like boom, knowing, right?
It's more, for me, it's more of a knowing. Sometimes it's a feeling too. I have yet to really taste anything, like to have a taste pop in with anything, but for me, it's a feeling, it's a knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I will tell you, one of the things we're going to start working on through the associated remote viewing and blending in a diary of a QHHT practitioner is that we're going to start delving into the telepathy tapes. And we're going to be talking about that in upcoming videos for those of you interested, to get our perspective, especially when we're working with somebody, when we're working with consciousness and what we're able to find and get validated, just like Edgar Cayce, Dolores Cannon, and all of that. It all ties in. So just to put a little plug out there for the next playlist that we're going to be working on. All right, let's move.
Before we go any further, let's elevate your journey, personal and cosmic. Meet your must-have companion, the Energy Healing Map at mdhmap.com. Perfect for beginners and pros. It's your guide to clearing trapped emotional energies like ancestral or past life baggage, aligning your vibration with your goals. Imagine releasing old vibes to unlock new skills like remote viewing. With a clear energy field, you'll tap into the unseen. mdhmap.com helps you heal, grow, and explore your universe. Grab your energy healing map today, clear the past energies, and align your vibe, and see what's out there. Visit mdhmap.com now.
I am so impressed with this website, how well you've done it. I've worked in analytics, IT systems before, and I'm thinking, wow, this is a lot of work. And the navigation and to know, and just the whole mapping. You must be a very analytical person because this is so well done. I love it. Thank you.
So we are now saying that the subterranean structures beneath the Giza Plateau is tied to Atlantis, which is tied to the Martians, which is also tied to the Buga Sphere.
Yes, that is what we are saying for sure. Absolutely.
All right. So to wrap this video up, tell us about what you got with the Buga Sphere connection.
For the Buga Sphere, when we talked about the Buga Sphere separately, I really got that it was created by off-worlders and it's a probe. But we also talked about how we are the off-worlders. So
Mhm.
so it was made by us
Mhm.
in the past. We just don't remember. We don't remember having the technology and the ability to do and make the Buga Sphere.
That's almost what I felt like is that we've had civilizations and we destroyed ourselves. We've had civilizations, we destroyed ourselves. This is how it feels like it's going, this ebb and flow. So, and I'm not saying the Anunnaki didn't manipulate DNA. They may have. I don't know. I'm just saying it's an interesting tie-in to
Right.
all of this, and then how the Buga Sphere is this probe that I felt like it came from the past and landed here, or it was up here. That's the part that I could not understand in my remote viewing. Why is it here? Yes, it's gathering information, but
Right.
did it get sent through some kind of a weird portal? Or was it sent here intentionally? Because, hey, we recognize we've destroyed ourselves several times and we don't want to do that again. Where did this, timeline go to reflect back to, what is it we need to change? What is that information sending? See, that's the thing I don't know. Maybe something we need to carry in part 3 of this.
Right. We might want to look into that because nothing happens by accident. So it is a good question as to so why now?
Right.
So
Why now? That's a very good question. All right. So, with that said, any last thoughts?
I was really surprised by everything. So I just thought this was so cool. It was fascinating.
Well, there has to be some commonalities, and you begin to think, oh, wait a minute. You got this piece, you got this piece, and this piece. So when they stand alone, they don't make any sense.
Right.
Go Lebiteki or whatever they call it, that sub,
Mhm.
all these things are finding in Greece and what have you. Um, there's just so much technology out there that cannot be explained. The building of the pyramids, Stonehenge, those massive stone megalithic walls in South America that you can't put a piece of paper between. It looks like somebody molded it together. You have to say this has to be connected, but how? And
Right.
how do we make sense of it? So it is interesting that as we're beginning as QHHT practitioners, we understand some of how you get to asking the question. And just like even now, after all these years, I still stumbled, is the subterranean structures associated with the lost Atlantis? And I kept getting no. And even I am still, make mistakes in this. I think that's the crazy part, just like you really, really, really have to hone in. How do you ask that question? Because the civilization doesn't go get lost. It can be forgotten.
Yes.
We can have amnesia, but it doesn't get up and go get lost, right?
Right. Yeah, that took me a minute because I kept going over that question and I'm like, I don't like it's like why doesn't this feel right? I'm like, I'm doing it and I'm getting no and I'm like, this still just doesn't feel right. And I'm like, oh, I look at the question I'm like, let's try to take out the word lost and see what happens. And then bam.
And it made a huge difference to me too. I mean, so just to inspire all of you watching this video, just pay attention to the words that you are speaking and asking. And then just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and feel the answer. Does your body feel light or tight? This is exactly where it all starts. Now, you can hone that skills, and the more trapped emotional energies that you clear out of the way will begin to raise your frequency. And actually, you will be able to tune in a lot easier when you don't have as much resistance. Christina, can you talk on that just real quick? What a difference clearing trapped emotional energies did for your ability to tune in more easily?
Well, I would say I was completely closed. Like I really was having difficulty tuning in, and I know we worked together several times to clear out, energy, and then I also then learned how to do it too, so I can do it for myself as well, um, to clear out the energies. And the more of the layers you remove, the easier it is for you to focus in. Is
Uh,
the way it feels to me. Is the more you remove, the easier it is to focus.
yeah. And you know what? The other thing too that we've also learned in this is that anybody doing a QHHT session, if you can clear a lot of the trapped emotional energies out about a month in advance, you get to a much easier place. It seems like people go down easier to a place where they need to go to get their answers. So anybody out there looking for a QHHT session, just keep that in mind. Me or somebody like me, clear those trapped emotional energies in advance of that, and you'll get to that space a lot easier. What's going to be cool is that all this consciousness is the more you get out of resistance. So we go to the telepathy tapes, for example. The people who are not inside their heads, that they are not, they have to focus on other ways to communicate, is what the host has said, is that they've got to find other ways to communicate. You get outside, and you're not in your body. You're just allowing this information to flow, and that's where that all begins to take place. And when you do your QHHT sessions, Christina, you've seen it yourself, how when people are relaxed and they're not thinking in their conscious mind, all the answers that they can supply themselves with. Any thoughts?
Right. It's so much easier when your subject isn't um, stuck in their brain. It's so much easier when they're relaxed and they're just letting it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite magical, actually. But
Yeah.
then it comes down to that's really who we are, you know? So, yeah, let's dig into that in future videos, just so you know. That's going to be coming up with Diary of a QHHT Practitioner, and we're going to delve into all things from our perspective into different experiences that people have had, and tie that all together. And then we're also going to be doing more associated remote viewing. All right, Christina, any last words in this video before we go?
No, I would just say be open. Be open to whatever pops in, because you just never know.
Yeah, and you can be skeptical. That's fine. Just don't be cynical, because it's a cynic that gets closed down. All right, for all of you, thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for upcoming videos. We are going to touch base on more associated remote view, and going to look into all things woo in the state of consciousness. Thanks for watching.